Hello everybody, today we're going to go over a unboxing, or I guess more appropriately would be an unbooking of the all-new War Prime Rulebook. So this is the hardbound rulebook. As you can tell, it is extremely thick and it comes with just a ton of information in it. But this is the new rulebook that comes out in stores June 29th, and basically what it is this is the new edition. What came from Mark II Warmachine, and now we are in a new edition, and they're just going by Prime, and then the Hordes book is called Primal, and this is the new book for it. So just going over the book real quick, basically, as I mentioned, it's a hardbound book. It comes with just a ton of information in it, from the rules to new artworks to all manner of things. So the story arc has advanced from the last edition. It basically has taken place just after the Skull Islands expedition, Blood of Kings. So you'll see a lot of information about that in the story arcs. And then it just dives straight into the rules for the new edition. So these are the same rules that you can download off of their website for free. This obviously comes with a lot more diagrams to lay everything out. This is also the same rules that you can find within your battle group boxes that we've been doing unboxings for on the channel. And this is basically, that would be a smaller version of this exact same rule book. But it's got a lot of information in it. It basically goes over all of the different rule sets. As I mentioned, it's got a lot of diagrams, so there's a lot of visual aids to assist you in how some of the interactions of the rules work from the changeover from the new edition to this all-new War. And as I mentioned, there is a ton of new artwork in here, so we're going to go ahead and skip through some of these rules sections. They cover over spells, and I actually really like the direction that they're going with this book. So a couple of things that are different from the last book. In this book they have the scenarios, and they're actually bringing over a lot of the scenarios from the Steamroller packet into this book. And basically what they've done is they've recognized two things. One, there's not even deployments. So you'll remember in the last edition, Mark II, there used to be even deployments with each other. So there was no benefit to who was going first and who was going second. So these new deployments match the Steamroller book of 7 by 10 10s. But also they give you a variety of scenarios that allow you to map out games that don't necessarily have you just running around chasing a caster trying to blow things up. So now we get into the actual parts of the new armies, and it's a nice picture of Victor right there. So this again, it advances the story, reviews some of the prehistory, advances the story, and then pushes you to just a little bit past Blood of Kings, the book. I would highly recommend, if you have not seen or have not read Blood of Kings, that you do so. But one of the other things that they do is they give you a couple of the new units in here. They cover over some of the other units that you have an example of different types. But one of the things I noticed when I was looking through here that was interesting is they give you 4 casters in each of the factions. But the 4 casters you see are the first 4 ADR casters of the new season for Warmachine and Hordes in the ADR tournament format. So you get exposed to those 4 ADR casters right out the gate from this rulebook. So you've got Prime Kane, you've got Prime Haley, you have the new Maddox battle group caster, and then Prime Striker. All of the Signar's ADR casters, and that will continue in through all of the different factions. They'll have those first 3 primes, and then they will have the new caster. Also, in every faction they go over the Colossal, the very first Colossal for each. So we're talking Stormwall, Conquest, Hyperion, and so forth. So you get the first Colossal, and you get the battle engine for the different armies that are in here. And that is so that you have an understanding of the huge base, because huge base is now part of this book that wasn't necessarily part of the last edition. So they gave examples of huge bases, so you have an idea of some of the rule sets for those huge bases. And again, we're just kind of coming through here, so we get some new artwork on the Trencher Infantry, UA, we get the new artwork on the Rifleman. I don't believe I've ever seen this artwork before for the table presentation. So some of the artwork is repeated, and of course we have the model guide or model presentation form. So some of this is new. It's not necessarily something that's been seen before. So they've got new table displays that they've got mapped out, and they've actually got new artwork pieces. Here's a great one with the Vessel of Judgment in it. I really love this piece. But they've kind of stepped up their game when it comes to art. I'm really impressed with the art that they provide. So here's our new caster for Menoth. And again, the 3 primes that go into it. But it's got a lot of information in here. I mean, we're halfway through the book, and we've only gotten to the Menoth section. So we have, going past Menoth, we step into some of the others. So this is the rule set for Khador. We have our lovely Kozlov in here, Prime Sorsha, Prime Vlad, and Prime Butcher. And stepping through this, I am a huge fan right now of Khador, so I'm going to skip over this, or I will just fanboy over this entire section and make this video a lot longer than it needs to be. So we step into Crix. Again, advancing the story along just a little bit more, catching us up to this new war point. We get P. Asphyxius, Prime Denegra, Prime Sorsha, and I must have skipped over her. Yep, there she is. Bane Witch Agathea. Again, just that's as I said before, carrying on with that concept of giving you those first ADR casters. And then here's the new part. So in Mark II, Retribution was not one of the Prime factions. In this book, they have been introduced to the game as a Prime faction of Warmachine Hordes. So you will not get Convergence in here. They are not a Prime faction. They are just part of the setting. And some more nice work going through those ADR casters, and there was one piece. Where are you? I love this piece. This isn't necessarily a new one, but this is just an amazing piece. I can't say enough about it. The art is in here is amazing, and it really sets the tone. Like, this isn't just some sort of, here's a new table display. This isn't just a collection of random, things being regurgitated. They have taken the time to advance both the story, advance their art, and advance their rules. I mean, this is a whole new war. It's a new edition. So this isn't necessarily just pure regurgitation of the prior edition. They do have mercenaries in the book, and they do have a little bit of a story arc to them, but they don't have any casters displayed in here. They don't have the galleon or anything like that. What they do have is they have units that can be taken by other armies of the Prime book. So there's no new information as it relates to new casters or anything like that. Nice Buccaneer display right there. You do get the new Thorn Gun Mages, and you do get your new Gibbs with his hot meal rule in the book. And then we get into some of the hobby guides. So this is a more expanded version of what you would find in the mini rule books that come in the battle group boxes. This covers over multiple factions. So you've got your Signar, your Menoth, your Khador, Crix, Retribution. So you're giving some of the basics. Again, they give the color palette that they use in order to produce these studio schemes. You start going over some of the basings that you can do, or suggested basings. They cover over how to build some pieces of terrain now that we've got new terrain types in the game. Here's a section about timing. This is kind of an Apodex, but it basically goes over when certain activations and when certain things occur. For those of you who play Magic the Gathering, this is kind of akin to that timing chart that you have in that, where If you have a question of when does an event occur before another event to determine whose rules take precedence, you would refer to this timing section. You've got the Warmachine specific rules, and then you do have one theme list in here, and this is the theme list for the Cephalix. This is the only current theme list in the game as of right now. There are new theme lists that will be supposed to be coming out later in the year, but this is the one theme list, and this kind of gives you a taste of how theme lists will work. Back in Mark II, they used to be dependent upon a caster. Now they're just a theme list for a faction that carries a theme. So this is a theme list for mercenaries that carries 4 Cephalix, and this is partially because Cephalix are very selective in their recruitment, so you can't necessarily go all crazy nilly-willy and have Cephalix-dominated galleons in your list as much as the Cephalix players like myself would love to have. The other thing that they do is, just like in the small rulebooks, is basically they cover over the hordes. So even though this is a prime rulebook, I have the rules necessary to understand how the horde side of the game works. And it's 4 or 5 pages worth of information that basically governs over. So I'm not necessarily tasked with, all right, I've got my prime book, now I need to go out and get my primal. I basically get everything that I need to play the game and understand both sides of the game in one book. And then again, we're going into providing templates. We've got our spray template, we've got our AoE template. We do have a flag proxy. So if you, I don't know, any of those scenarios that you saw earlier that had a flag, you have a proxy for that. You can photocopy that and produce multiples of it. And then they have their kind of concaved out AoE templates so that you can actually see what fits over top of to catch things in frame. So that is the all new War Primal Rulebook. This will be available in stores on January 29th. And if you are looking to advance the storyline, you're not familiar with the rules because you weren't necessarily part of the Mark II era, this is a good buy. It gets you in, it gets you aware. If you're already aware of Mark II, or maybe you're not so thrilled about knowing about the story arcs because you read them in the Skull Island book, you could easily just get away with using your small rule book that is available in the battle group box, or you could in turn use the rules that you can download off of their websites and then just start playing the game that way. So this is kind of a, I don't want to call it a collector's because they actually do have a collector's edition to this, but this is a book that fans and collectors of the game will probably end up picking up more than just somebody who's looking to get into the game. So with that, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you. Have a good day.